Russia cannot show any success at the front line, so it resorts to missile terror. The former commander-in-chief of NATO forces in Europe, James Jones, is sure of this. According to him, Russia is trying to create chaos and difficulties for the Ukrainian people.
The Russian strategy now seems to be launching horrific missile attacks on civilian infrastructure, which I consider a war crime. James Jones, general, former commander-in-chief of NATO forces in Europe.
After all, the Kremlin cannot boast of other successes. Russian troops have been stuck in Bakhmut since August, and it remains one of the hottest spots on the front line. The daily shelling by the Russian army, which has turned the city into ruins, does not bring results. Ukrainian defenders have been holding back the onslaught of the Russians for 6 months.
The enemy has concentrated many of its soldiers in this area. Its most combat-ready units are fighting here, so such a difficult battle is going on here. But it's okay, we will defeat them. I would like no one to forget that those who are fighting here now for their lands are the very first shield of all of Europe. The aggressor country, Russia, will not stop by conquering one country, and if it swallows us, it will move on. If Russia feels that Europe is weak, it will never stop. That is why Europe and the world should support us and force the aggressor country to stop what it is doing now.
After the blitzkrieg failed, the Kremlin relied on dragging out the war. Like the West will get tired and international support for Ukraine will weaken. But this plan did not work. Just this week, 3 countries have announced new aid packages. France will donate tank fire support vehicles and Bastion armored personnel carriers, while the United States will transfer Bradley armored personnel carriers. Norway has sent 10,000 artillery shells to Ukraine. This will help replenish the ammunition stocks of the armed forces of Ukraine, but the Russian army has no one to help them.
Russia has removed about 96,000 tons of shells from the territory of the Republic of Belarus during the full-scale invasion of the Russian Federation into the territory of Ukraine. These are the ammunition that it later used on the Russian-Ukrainian front line. What does this indicate? The fact that the Russians are in dire need of those shells. Yes, the Russian military industry is functioning, but it is not able to fully meet all the needs of the Russian occupiers.
Attacks on ammunition depots are also having an effect on it. Thanks to the HIMARS systems, Russia has lost a significant part of the shells. To compensate for the disadvantage, Russia uses drones and aircraft. However, their effectiveness is questionable.
The Russian airspace forces tried but failed to gain air supremacy. Russian aviation did not have enough of well-developed air defense suppression system, like the one that NATO has. Due to the fact that the Ukrainian air defense remained in service, the Russian airspace forces have lost the opportunity to use their weapons in the most convenient way for them, effectively proven in Syria, dropping conventional unguided bombs from median altitudes after aiming with the help of new computer systems. And the Russian side had few high-precision guided weapons. From a Medusa publication.
Analysts disagree on how the shell hunger of both sides will affect the course of the war in the future. Some believe that artillery can fade into the background, combat operations will become more mobile, aviation will be used. Others believe that a war of attrition will begin, but experts agree on one thing: the balance of power will change in favor of Ukraine. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Ksenia Barvinenko, UATV News.